What's up, boys and girls? My name's Bill, and welcome back to Pirate Solutions Forestry. Just give you a quick little update. I'm working on the mill yard. I have had a few orders come in over the last couple of days. Here in the Northeast, we've been buried by rain. And I'm getting ready to cut those orders. So what I'm doing today is I'm actually cleaning up around the mill yard a little bit, making some space. And I'm waiting for a log delivery and doing some maintenance on the mill. So I'm going to bring you in on that. For those of you who don't want to watch any maintenance on the mill, who just want to see cutting, this is not going to be the video for you. Let's see, I've got an order for the U.S. government I have to cut. That's 500 board feet of 2x12s. And I've got a 28-inch wide, 2-inch thick slab I have to cut for a customer. And the 2x12s for the government have to be 12 feet long. The customer wants a shorter piece, but it all works out that I could take it all or most of it out of the same log. Since the customer wants 2-inch thick slab and the government wants 2-inch thick planks, I can mill a monster. I've been searching around all morning for 12-foot 6 logs with 18-inch diameter minimum on the small end so that I can get a 12-inch cant out of it. How that math works out is basically you take your small end on a fairly straight log, take your minimum diameter, multiply it by 70%, and that will give you the size of the square that you can get out of that log. The way the math really works out is if you multiply the diameter of a circle by 0.70711, which you're not doing in your head. Well, at least some of you aren't. Maybe Mike from Suits is, but for us mere mortals, 7.70711. That gives you the maximum size square that you can fit into a circle. So what we do, instead of the 711, we let that kind of give us a little bit of extra, and we just go by 70%, and that kind of accounts for some curve and things like that. So if you're going to mill 2x12s, and they're going to be true 2x12s. Now the government doesn't, I'm waiting to hear back from them. They don't seem to care because they've been buying dimensional lumber from Home Depot. And these are bunks to come down off their landing craft onto dirt. They basically throw boards down to make up the difference. So they're going to use these overseas on a deployment. But they've been buying them from Home Depot, so they're getting 1.5 by 11 1/4, which is really what a 2x12 is. And I asked them, do you want true 2x, true dimension, or do you want the nominal dimension? Yeah, that's the right term, I think. And they said that it didn't matter to them. So I think I'm just going to cut it all at 2x12 actual. And to do that, to get a 12-inch cant, I'm erring a little bit on the safe side because an 18-inch log, if you do the math real quick, times 70% gives you a 12.6-inch cant. It makes no sense whatsoever to mill any other log that's smaller than 18 inches. It doesn't make any sense for 2x12s. Now, does that mean that you can get a 2x12 out of them? Maybe. If you had in theory, like a 14-inch log and you just slabbed it, you got down to the middle and it was perfectly straight and you just had to cut the wane off of both sides, maybe you could get a 2x12. But if you have to cut 2x12s for an order, it makes no sense to get less than a 12-inch cant. Now what I need I need a 12-inch by 12 5/8, and the 5/8 means that when I cut the 12-inch cant down into 2-inch boards, I'm going to get 6 boards, which means there's 5 cuts, and there's 1/8 of an inch per cut. So I need 12 5/8 by 12 inches actual to be able to cut 2x12s out of it with no wane. And so I've been looking for 18-inch minimum logs, and I have a whole pile of them. Some of them are kind of long, so if you look at like that one over there that's on the bottom, and that log's 14 feet long, so I got to waste 2 feet. That log right there is 18 inches on the small end, and again, that one's 14 feet long, so I have to waste 2 feet. But if you look up on the hillside right there, shining at us in the sun is that monster. Well, that monster right there is 30 inches across on the butt end, and let's just say at 12 feet, it's about 28. It's fairly straight, maybe 26. It's fairly straight. And the customer that I want, that I have for the slab, he looked at some of my slabs over here. He was asking for a 4-inch thick slab by 24 wide, which that bottom one is. That's why I told him to come out. The one on top of that is 3 inches thick at 26 wide. Well, he said that he really wanted 28 wide, 4 feet long, and then another section at like 3 feet, but it doesn't really need to be 28. Well, that log will cover it. So I'm going to cut that log. I'm going to slab it down at 2-inch slabs, starting at a slab that's 12 inches wide on the small side. I'll slab it down, take his 2 inches just above the pith, a half inch or an inch above the pith. So I'll box the pith into a 2-inch slab. And then I'm going to cut the rest of it for 2x12s for this government order. And that's going to give me, they want 20 of them by 12 feet long, and that's a little bit long, but that's going to give me the majority of the order, and then I only have to cut up maybe one of these to fill the rest of it. So it's kind of what's going on. It sounds kind of complicated. Welcome to my world. It's always the way it works. But what I'm doing today is I just leveled out the mill. See, I got my good brand new 8-footer out here instead of my slightly curvy job site 8-footer. And a 4-footer. I added some, I was bending those feet over there, so I actually added some pressure treated blocks under them to shorten the throw on those, so there's less threaded rod sticking out. And I leveled that far side perfect, and then leveled across the bunks for this side. The mill was really close as it was, so now we're all level. And what I have to do now is I have to adjust what we found out the other day. If you guys follow along, if you don't, you can go back and watch the last video. But what we found out the other day was that my outside lumber scale is not reading the right height off the bunks. I kept getting the bottom cut that was thick, and it's gotten a little bit progressively worse, and that's the cause of it. What the bottom, so if your band, let me explain this. What you want to do for that measurement is that when your band's in here, you take the tooth that's set down and you measure the bottom of the tooth that's set down towards the bunk from the bunk. And that is your height off the deck. That's where you're going to cut at. Well, mine was a 1/4 inch off, basically. How that happened, I don't know, because I said it very, 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 very carefully in the beginning. But I think I have an idea. When I have my cover on, my cover's blowing all around, and I actually have to tie it down now because it's blown off a couple times. It sits up over the top of that scale. And if you notice, the only thing that's holding that scale up is those little levers right there with the set screw in them. I actually put washers on the back side of these. Oh, not that one. Figures. I didn't put a washer on the back side of that one. They need a washer on the backside because when you go to crank them down, they'll pull the scale a little bit. So I think what's happened is that over time, my cover sitting on that thing and banging around has pushed that scale down. Is that right? So, well, no, I guess that wouldn't be right. I guess that wouldn't be right. Instead of, so if I'm at 5, I'm set at 5, and I'm real, oh yeah, that is right. 5's moved up 1/4 of an inch. So I'm really at 5 1/4. So if I'm at 5 1/4, let me think about this now. My neophyte brain. So if I'm at 5 1/4, which is where it actually is, I have to move that scale down to get to 5. Right. So that scale's dropped. So that's something to keep an eye on. I don't know if you can see on the left side under that washer. Can you see the stain here? If you see the stain around the bottom of it, it does look like it's moved 1/4. Look at that. It's moved just 1/4 of an inch. You can see the stain right here where my finger is, I think. Let me get you in there. So if you see the stain where the oxidation is from this galvanized washer against this piece of metal, you can see the stain and how much this has moved down. So that's what's happened. And now I got to fix it. So I'm going to set you guys back. I'll bring you in close while I'm doing it. When I need to show you something, I'm going to clean the guides. I'll adjust the guides, get it all set. The first thing I have to do is you got to clean out the band wheels. So if you look at the inside of that band wheel right there, I get buildup in there. Let's see if I can get you in to show you well. So if you see right in front of my finger right here, there's a big chunk of sap in there that's stuck on there. So I have to clean those out. I also have to get sawdust off the band wheel. So you can see, hopefully on this one right here, I can't see through the viewfinder good because of my sunglasses, but see the sawdust. I'll show you how I get that off. Then we'll put the band on. Well, we'll spray out the guides. We'll put the band on. We'll check them, make sure it's right, make sure our clearances are right, and then we'll check the height and we'll adjust our scale. So first thing I'm going to do is get in there and clean up those band wheels. What I do is I clean them with an old piece of sandpaper and a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver. So on this side, to get the chunks out of the band wheel, I go in there with a flathead screwdriver, kind of scrape them out, and I'll roll the band wheel around. And I would say that I have to do this maybe once every 3 or 4 times cutting. Just looking for chunks in there. And they do get in there. There's one right here. And they come right off. When my log delivery, if it does show up, the guy that's delivering these logs, he likes to get in the weed during the day, and then he says he's going to be here and then never comes. So hopefully he'll show up. He's supposed to be here 2+ hours. Well, actually, he's supposed to be here at 10 o'clock this morning. Didn't show up. And I went to lunch at 11. Called him. Said I'll be back at 12. Still waiting. It's probably close to 2 now. So that gets all of that pitch buildup out from the inside of the band wheel. That just keeps the band from jumping around while it's running. Then on this side, to clean up, and I do this almost, I don't know, whenever I'm cutting pine, Basically what I do is I just spin this thing, use this old sandpaper on the wheel really kind of lightly, just kind of go across and clean it off. Usually stuff comes right off. This is I can't see the numbers on it so old, but there's probably like a 120 or an 80 grit old off a random orbit that I keep in for just kind of, I keep in my kit for the sawmill just for kind of polishing stuff up. Keep all my old beat up sandpaper. Getting all the buildup off the belt. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, it's pretty much right back down to metal. Now, if there's buildup on this one, which right now there really isn't, what I do on this one is I clean up here and I roll it. And I just kind of sand it off, roll it. Just kind of sand it off, roll it. It only takes a few seconds and it's all done. I'm going to spray out these guides really quick. I did it when I put it away. There's a little bit in there. Huh. And let's throw the band on it. We'll tension it up. We'll check the guide clearance, and then we'll set our height. My guide clearance, I think, is probably just going to be pretty close. Set my gullet width before I tension. Kind of get it kind of in the right spot. Helps. And then we'll throw our 5.5 turns on it once we get to starting some tension right there. That's half, 1, 2, half, 3, half, 4, 5, and a tweak. Check the tracking. My tracking looks perfect. Gullets are nice and flush on both sides. We'll check the up and down. The way I check the up and down is to tap on the band. You hear that click? So that click tells me I have clearance up. I don't have much clearance down here. I got clearance up there. Seems pretty tight down. So I'm just gonna adjust them a little bit. Now you can use the paper trick. In other words, just simply slide the piece of paper in. See if that kicks down. It didn't, so that was actually pretty close. Let's see if this one kicks down. It didn't, so that one was pretty close too. You can use the paper trick, but really what's plenty, well, let's go ahead and use the paper trick just to show you. It's not really a trick, it's the way you should do it. Take a piece of paper, just slide it in above the guide block, and push your paper up to the guide, your guide up to the paper. Tighten it down. Take the paper out. Now I have ticking down, ticking up. That's what you want. Take a look at it. Looks like I'm a little fat on the top side, so let's go ahead and drop this guide down. Should do the top guide first because it's easier just to drop the top guide onto the band to hold the band from moving when you do the bottom. But this top clearance looks a little thick. Get it kind of snugged. So I have clearance both ways. Clearance on the bottom looks thick. Just gonna fix it. Since I'm here, you know, you're only looking for about 3/1000ths on this. It looks like I got a little more than that on the bottom. Normally this does not take this long. If I just set the top guides first, I'd be done. What we want to do is slip a piece of paper in there. We're going to loosen the bottom, push it up against the band, get the paper in the top so the band can't move. There we go. It did move quite a bit too. Snug it, pull it out. So clearance both ways. Tighten this one down. Well, I'll tighten them after, so we don't want them influencing the other side. So let's do this side right. So we're going to put the top one in there first. Top guide looks like it's got good clearance on the side. I can get it in there. All right, so we're going to loosen this one off. I'm going to push it up a little bit. I'm going to tighten it a little bit so I have an extra clearance. Put this piece of paper in there. If I can get it in there. So I get the paper in there. Now I'm going to push this, just let this guide fall down on the paper so I'm not deflecting the band. Tighten that a little bit so it doesn't move. Take the bottom one. Wow, there's a lot of clearance on this one. This one definitely had moved. Put the bottom one. Push it up against the band. Snug it down so it doesn't move. Pull them both out. Yep, good clearance. Nice tight clearance. 3/1000ths on both. You can give your guides a kind of a look to make sure they're pretty square, and they are. I squared them up last time. Then we're going to squeeze these ones down. And these do move. If you get into a bad spot in a log where your mill's really struggling, the band will move these. And since I'm going to be making such a big cut on that log, I want to have them close. So now what we're going to do is we're going to adjust our scale. Since that's all done, don't need that. Going to, and you know, you're going to see a lot of stuff on this, and that you need to use very accurate things and blah, 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 blah. You don't really. You could do this with a tape measure. You're measuring the thickness of your slabs with a tape measure. So we're going to, what if I get you over here closer? I'm going to back this guide up a little bit and get you a better view. And obviously, I don't know if this is going to make sense or not. I hope it is, but the most accurate way to do this is going to be using as much of the ruler as we can. We try to get the, all right, so it's at 5 1/4 right now. Shouldn't make a whole lot of difference, but we're going to measure it on both sides. We're going to see where we're actually at. Then we'll just change the scale to whatever we're actually reading. So we have to find a down tooth. There's one here, and then there'll be one 3 over. So you got straight left down, straight left down. So there's a down tooth over here. All right, so I'm measuring 5 3/8 to the bottom of that tooth right there. And on this side, straight left down, straight left down. So this is a down tooth here. And I am measuring 5 3/8. Ooh, I'm off. You remeasure that. I'm off side to side. I'm off side to side. Measuring 5 3/8 there. Find a down tooth in the middle here somewhere. Yep. So I'm off side to side. I'm not off up and down. There's a down tooth. I'm measuring 5 1/4 here. All right, I'm gonna pause you guys because I have to make an adjustment in the back. This side is correct. It's showing what's on my scale. This side's high. Let's just find another down tooth. There's one right there. Measure that one real quick. Double check. Oh wait, maybe that's not a down tooth. Is left. Yep, that is a down tooth. Yeah, I'm measuring way off. I'm 1/8 of an inch higher on this side than I am on that. So we got to make an adjustment to, actually this just turned into a good video. We got to make an adjustment to our yoke for our head. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and drop that side 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to pause you guys while I get what I need to do that, and we'll come back and we'll do it. All right, so I raised the mill up a little bit, and to get this side to drop down, what we have to do is there's a yoke here. Probably can't see that, but that's okay. There's a yoke here going to the cable. We need to loosen this bolt or this nut right here to let this side drop down. Now that's a 16 threads per inch. We have to drop it 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to start by turning this. If I turn it 1 full turn, it'll drop a 1/16. We want to drop it 2 full turns. So I'm actually going to get my number so I can see on my socket there. And if you don't have that, you can make a line on it, but I'm just going to go around. There's 1 time. There's 2 times. Now, what I can tell you, I know you can't see my face. I'll talk to you. I'll fix it in a second. What I can tell you is that doesn't do it. So I'm going to get you a view on the carriage. I'm going to show you what you really have to do this. Because there's tension on these, that won't just, sometimes it won't just drop. So what you should do, you're going to run it all the way back down till there's no pressure on it, which comes at about 3/4 of an inch. Pressure comes off. Then we're going to run it back up to 5 1/4. I'm going to put it right at 5 1/4 from my eyesight, what I normally use. And we're going to go back and we're going to measure again. Now, if I did this right, I'm going to have 5 1/4 on both sides. It's that simple. It's a very, very, very simple adjustment. So let me find my combination square here. Now, the one thing that this did not fix is it does not seem at this point to explain why I'm getting a thick bottom board. I can tell you that now. So we're going to come over here now, find a down tooth. There's a left tooth and a right tooth. So this is a down tooth. I'm going to measure. It should be. So it's showing me that it didn't drop. I'm still showing 5 3/8 over here. This side Down tooth, I'm still showing just about 5 1/4. So this did not drop. Why? I'm not sure yet, but we're going to go check it. Should have dropped. It's the only thing that could be keeping it from dropping is binding. So maybe we need to run up and down a couple times. I'm going to check, get your view back here. I'm going to check the yoke, see if they got tension on the yoke. I'm going to guess that I don't, because it's in the same spot. Yeah, there's no tension on this yoke, so this did not move. Nope. Sound like a squeak there. I'm going to go up and down a couple times on it. We'll check it again. Let's go to 5 1/4 ish, right around there. Let's check and see if there's tension on the yoke now. There, I don't know, seems to be better. There's a lot of tension on this. So it seems to be better. Let's go check it again. And if I don't get it on this one, I'm going to raise the other side up 2 turns. So you guys got a view there. I apologize when I'm in front of you. It's just the way it is. Let's see if it dropped. If it didn't, I'm going to raise the other side. Oh. I'm actually going to tighten that one up a little bit and then raise the other side. Here's the down tooth right here. Let's check it. So I'm still kind of in the same spot at about 5 3/8. Let me just make sure, because I don't know exactly where I adjusted the scale to, where I put the mill head at. Huh. Actually, I'm close right now. I must not have put it all the way down to the 5 1/4. Let me just double check it. Yeah, I'm high. Okay. You just kind of come down to 5 1/4. Was a little bit high on the scale back there. I just kind of did it by high. The important thing is that they're the same both sides. Let's find a down tooth. This is a down tooth. Back me up just a little bit. So I'm showing really 5 5/16. Find a down tooth here. One right there. I'm a 16th off. So I'm actually going to try and bring this side up a hair. 1 turn in to raise this side up, and then we'll check it again. There are multiple reasons why this might not work. You kind of got to, you know, the thing could be binding. There's a lot of different reasons. Maybe this doesn't want to drop an 1/8 because of the geometry. Maybe we need to do it a little bit more equally. So we're going to bring this one on this side up. So we're going to go up 1 turn to get us a 16th. That's down. This one's actually loose right now. Okay, so there's, just gonna turn this up 1/16. That's going backwards. No, I'm going the right way. This is pretty loose on this side. Like maybe the all right, so that is a 16th. I'm going to run it up and down again. That's going tighten, yep. Let me try to go to 5 1/4. Based on my eye line, which is right about there. We'll go measure it again. Hopefully it's moving. But I'm assuming that the cable's stretched now. So yeah, you got a okay view. Let's go measure it. I'll read them out to you. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, that's perfect. Let's see. That down tooth here. Huh. All right, so I'm reading 5 3/8 there. Down tooth here. I'm still a 16th off. Still a 16th off. Let's move the band and check a different tooth. Just in case we have one that's way out of set. Okay, here's a down tooth here. No, 5 3/8. There's a down tooth there. Still a 16th off. Leave this back here. Go back. I'm going to try and bring the side up a little more. I'm also going to bring with me a little Phillips head to make sure that the yoke doesn't turn. Didn't check that when I did that. So we're going to bring it up at least another turn. Just make sure that this yoke isn't turning. And let's get there. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, that's one turn. Yoke did not turn. I turned the wrong one there. Before. Oh, maybe I did. All right, I see what I did. Let's just tighten this up. I got a loose. Oh no, 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 no. I got the wrong one. I got the wrong one. Okay, let's turn that one. That's right there. I'm turning it backwards, guys. I'm sorry. That should be. It's going backwards. Yeah. Shit. All right, so I got to go the other way. 2 full turns. Actually, 2 full turns gets me back to where I was. Let's go 3. Okay. Well, that was dumb. Okay, let's go check it now. Oh, Danny's out. Let's keep these back here so I don't have to keep walking back and forth for him. Where's Danny? There's Danny's out. See Danny? He's looking around. Oh, laying in the sun. Let's check it now. I absolutely went the wrong way. That was dumb. Thought I was going counterclockwise. I don't know how that happened, but it did. All right, so let's check this side. Down tooth there. Still right around 5 3/8. I didn't go up and down, so we might have to do that. Nope, I got 5 3/8. I think I'm perfect. I think you might not have to go up and down when you raise it. So I got it 5 3/8 exactly. This tooth here, it could go another half a turn. I'm going to do another half a turn. I'm going to leave you guys there and just go do it. I could adjust it. I didn't even think about it. Probably could adjust it from that side. Just going to go another half a turn. And I'm going to run it up and run it down real quick, just to make sure I do it right. All right, so let's go 5 this time. So I'm going to set it at 5. Use a different measurement. Find a down tooth. There's one here. To the left, to straight, and there's a down tooth. Okay, I'm showing 5 3/16. Down tooth here. Showing 5 3/16. No, I take it back. Find a down tooth. Right now I'm at 5 1/16. Make sure I get a down tooth. 5 1/8. So this side's going to come up more. Yep, I got good clearance on it. Just check something over here. Yeah, it's just a half a tooth less than 5 1/16. I mean, less than 5 1/8. The side's going to come up more. Adjust it again. Make sure, yeah, that one's tight. This one's tight. Shit. I'll run it down and run it up. And my scale is off, by the way, because I'm showing 5 1/8 and 5 1/8, 5 1/16, and I'm still at 5 on the back. So let's double check it now. Five 1/8. 5 1/16. It's still off. It's still off. Tightening that down is pulling that up. All right, we'll try to let the other side down a hair. I let the other side down an eighth. I mean a 16th. Let's go ahead and run it down. Take the pressure way off. This is good for you to see because in the videos it shows when Dave Boyd does it, it's kind of, oh yeah, well, all I have to do is just turn this and it's done. Well, it's not really done. So that's a left, a right, yeah. Still showing 5 1/8. Still showing 5 1/16. It's still off. All right, I'm gonna try to check it, check the tension on them, and it's binding somehow. So there is tension on that one now. Try to go up on this side a little bit more. You should get to see a good, what does this take to do this? Because, you know, is a 16th okay? Probably, but I don't want a 16th in it. I need a full 16th up. Okay. Run it down. This can be a frustrating thing for people that are trying to adjust it. Some about 5 inches. Let's check it again. So here's a down tooth. I mean, it almost looks like it's going down. That makes no sense. I'm showing 5 in like a 32nd. Let's check this side. Still a 16th off. Tightening that down, pulling that yoke down, should be pulling this up. This should be going up. And it's not. I mean, I can hear it moving. I can hear it creaking around. So, down tooth. Okay, it's pretty much 5 1/8. And it's 5 1/8. Finally moved. I got 5 1/8 on both sides. It's a lot of friggin' work. So now I can take you over here. Since I got 5 1/8 on both sides, we're gonna set. So I think that cable stretched on this side. I'm gonna set my scale to my eyesight at 5 1/8. Get you up. Now you're gonna get some parallax there, but I gotta bring this up till it's at 5 1/8. Oh, this is rusted up pretty good. It should just go up. Oh, yeah, it does. One at 5 1/8 on my eyesight, right there. Tighten it down. These things, I thought they used to pull in and out. Put some automatic transmission fluid on those. It's got to come down just a hair. Let's see if I can get something to knock on it. Nope, didn't move. Alright, so now it's showing 5 1/8. Let's see if it stays there. Yep. Yep. Okay. That's good. This scale never has to move on this side because I have a magnetic scale over here. So I'm going to set my 2-inch scale right now since I'm going to be cutting 2-inch lumber. So I want to get this to 4 1/8. And that 4 1/8 should be on the top of my 2-inch scale. So that's reading the top of my 2-inch green scale here. Right at the top is at 4 1/8, so I should be on scale. So when I drop to 2, I should be right at the top of the next one. And I am. And then when I go to 6 1/4, I should be at the top of this one. And I am. Perfect. So I'm on scale at 2 inches now for however I cut. Look at those hawks. See the hawks up there? Two red-tailed hawks hunting this yard. Probably squawking at Danny. Danny, where are you? Oh, it's right here. It's right behind me. He's being such a good boy. All right, so the mill. Let's get some automatic transmission fluid. We'll just kind of grease some things up here. I gotta hit my wipers. I want to hit these little adjustment screws here. For some reason, they're not pulling it in and out. They're supposed to pull in and out. Yeah. Yeah, that one does. Oh, there you go. Now it pulls in and out. Perfect. Get it nice and tight. Nice and tight. Put some on my guides. Just a little bit on the guides. And then hit my friction clutch on my adjustable guide here. Cool. We're all set. So I hope that helped out. One thing I learned is that I think it'd be easier to bring the low side up. I think I went about that backwards. Instead of trying to bring the other side down, it's easier to bring the low side up. I could hear it creaking as I was tightening on it. That made it so that I didn't have to go up and down. And I think that's it. I'm going to put a little bit of automatic transmission fluid just right under my water here, so that in case that thing drips during the night, I'm actually going to leave this band on, because it's going to take me the rest of the day to get that log down here trimmed, set on here in the right spot, so that I can mill it tomorrow morning, because I don't think I have the time to mill it today, but if I do, you'll see it. So I'm gonna get all this shit put away. Mill's all skippied up, ready to go. Feet are all tight. I took out some of the throw and the threaded rod on the feet, so I'm not bending them over anymore. Got my head adjusted right, got my scale right to my head. That's something you have to check though, guys. I would make a line somewhere on, if you use a cover like I do, where could you make a line here? So I think when you get it adjusted perfect, I would make some sort of nick mark on here and on here, some sort of line, so that you could easily see if it moved. And let me pause you guys 1 second. I'll grab a Sharpie or something. So let's try this. I have my combination square here, and I've got a pencil with me. So let's throw this on the side right here. See if I can get it kind of registered. It's not the best. I could shorten it up. I gotta shorten it up. That's what I gotta do. So I'm not up on this side. And that's better. So let's put a line. Damn it. Here. It's not the greatest thing in the world. I wonder if I can mark twice, maybe. Just trying to think this through. I mean, without having to measure it constantly. Let me make a mark here, a mark here. That's no good. Do this again here. So that's down on top of that. I guess it's all right. It kind of looks, I'd be able to see it kind of. Really what you need to do is get a punch or a chisel and make a ding here and a ding here, so that you know if it moved. Or you're just gonna have to check it from time to time if you notice that your cuts are off. Right now my cut should be perfect. I'm just the right height off the deck. on my scale is what, what the ruler's telling me, so it should be way close enough for government work. Haha, see what I did there. All right, so thanks for hanging out, and hope you learned something, and I learned something. And I will see you when I'm milling that big log. So it's Pirate Solutions and Danny laying in the sun. Pirate Solutions out.